Before we dive into the fascinating world of TV casting changes, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button to stay up to date on the latest entertainment news, all very different, interesting on the date. As a longtime fan of television, I've witnessed my fair share of casting changes over the years, much to the delight and confusion of many viewers. And it's fascinating to see how shows can evolve from their pilot episodes, with some characters being recast or entirely dropped due to various reasons. And so in the pilot episode of Psych, Anne Dudek portrayed Lassiter's partner, Lucinda Berry, but was soon replaced by Juliet, who became the primary love interest for one of the show's main characters, Sean Spencer, and James Roday was starting from season 1, episode 2. Juliet worked alongside Carlton Lassiter, Timothy Omenson at the Santa Barbara Police Department. Prior to the introduction of Juliet on Psych, Lassiter had a distinctly different character with his former partner, played by Anne Dudek as Junior Detective Lucinda Berry. This was when Sean and Gus initially appeared. Shrewdly, Sean deduced that Lassiter, who was at the time separated from his wife, was having an affair with Lucinda. Consequently, after the pilot episode of Psych, and Dudek's character disappeared from the series, in private discussions, the team behind Psych chose not to continue Anne Dudek's character throughout the series due to her initial character not resonating positively with viewers. Creator Steve Franks clarified that it wasn't Dudek's acting, but rather the storyline involving Lucinda Berry's affair with Lassiter, which caused a negative perception of Lassiter's character. Despite intending Lassiter to serve as a foil for Sean, Franks aimed to ensure that viewers found him likable. Following Anne Dudek and Lucinda Berry's departures, Maggie Lawson was cast, which proved to be the secret ingredient that made everything click together. While Lucinda Berry was occasionally mentioned following the pilot episode of Psych, her character was mostly phased out once Jules took over the role. Reflecting on how Juliet O'Hara became Sean's long-term romantic interest throughout the series Psych, it raises questions about the direction of Sean's love life if Dudek had stayed. Although a potential flirtation between Sean and Lucinda was suggested during the firing range scene, it didn't compare to the chemistry between James Roday and Maggie Lawson. However, after the pilot episode, Dudek became a remnant of Psych's past, with only occasional hints at what became of Lucinda Berry post her exit from the series. Reflecting on the decision now, it's clear that having Juliet join the cast of Psych after the pilot was a wise choice. She offered a wealth of character interactions, particularly her rapport with Sean and the unique bond she developed with Timothy Omensen's character, Carlton Lassiter. In the series, Juliet had several significant encounters with various characters, notably Sean and Lassiter, which wouldn't have transpired if Anne Dudek hadn't left her role as Lassiter's partner following the Psych pilot episode. As a devoted cinephile, I recall the intriguing reason behind Lucinda Berry's departure from the Psych series was her secret romance with Lassiter, which breached departmental rules. When Sean uncovered their clandestine relationship, it led to Lucinda being reassigned, a fact subtly hinted at by Juliet in the early episodes of season 1. Later in the show, Sean would playfully allude to Lassiter's love life, poking fun at the situation. It appears from the events in Santa Barbara Town 2, the season 7 premiere of Psych, that Lucinda Berry passed away after the show's initial episode. This is hinted at by Lasser receiving an award for the Lucinda Berry Memorial Tournament during a visit to the firing range with Sean and Gus. After making her debut in the pilot of Psych, Ann Dudek has maintained a significant and successful career in television. Though she frequently takes on guest spots for 1 or 2 episodes in various shows, she's also held many recurring roles. One of these prolonged stints was on the same network that broadcasted Psych back in the early 2000s when Psych ruled the USA airwaves. The network was known for its unique lineup of crime dramas like White Collar and Burn Notice, as well as espionage series such as Covert Affairs. While the shows weren't your typical procedurals on network TV, they were hidden gems that I couldn't get enough of. One such gem was Covert Affairs, where the talented Dudek played Danielle Brooks, the sibling of Piper Perabo main character, who just so happened to be a spy. In the show, Dudek portrayed the only character aware that his on-screen sister worked for the CIA. This detail wasn't disclosed immediately, and the character was markedly distinct from his role in the initial episode of Psych. For a significant period, Danielle was primarily recognized as Dudek due to her performance spanning 2 years. Many of her other TV appearances during that time were brief guest roles, but while Dudek is most famous for her work on Covert Affairs, she has gone on to a number of memorable TV roles. She had recurring roles in The Magicians, Mad Men, and The Flash, allowing her to try her hand at very different television genres. More recently, the former Psych actress appeared in the miniseries Gaslit and Manhunt. Some popular TV shows initially struggled during their pilot stages, necessitating significant reshoots and cast changes. So for instance, the initial portrayer of Penny on The Big Bang Theory was Amanda Walsh. However, the producers opted to alter the character's demeanor, leading to Kaylee Cuoco being cast in her place. And similarly, the pilot episode of Game of Thrones was notoriously poorly received, resulting in 2 major recastings. Tamsin Merchant was replaced by Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen, and Jennifer Ailey gave way to Michelle Fairley as Catelyn Stark. In some productions, original characters may not return for subsequent seasons, but instead are replaced by new actors. For instance, after the first episode of New Girl, Damon Wayans Jr. had to leave his role as coach, and Lamorne Morris stepped in as Winston. Similarly, Scott Glenn initially played Clay on Sons of Anarchy before Ron Perlman took over the part, while Jenna Fisher, who was successful on The Office, was eventually replaced by Liza Snyder in the sitcom Man with a Plan. These instances demonstrate that recasting characters as seen in Sight is not an unusual occurrence. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,